I put up our cover so that right now, even if somebody was watching right now, they can't see us. They can just hear us, in theory.
Oh my gosh, that's magic.
Right? Right? It just protects us from, last minute adjustments to anything and everything that you might be adjusting.
Oh no. Oh gosh. I don't know what I should be adjusting now.
Just adjust everything.
No, I can't do that because I know you're watching me.
Oh, right? Yeah. No, and how about right now I have the giant, I just have the OBS open right now. So.
Okay.
There you go. Oops. There we go. Skip ad. Go away, ad. I want to see your ad. So. All right. Hey, and people are actually in the chat.
Oh my gosh, this is scary.
No, it's not scary. We're all good. We're totally good.
Here. Yeah, it's fine. It's so casual. It's so crazy how casual.
It's super really. Cash. Totes super cash. So I hope, everyone can hear us. Just let me know. Someone let me know in the stream if you can hear us at some point. Because then I gotta wait for the lag delay, so that's hilarious. People are saying, hi, hey guys. We'll pull down the cover. All is good. It sounds like we're good to go. So, I'll pull down the cover and then I'll try to match Sal's enthusiasm. I don't think I can do that. I'll be honest with you.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
Sal's like an old master at this point. Like he's so just into it and going for it. So, all right, here we go. We're doing this. Pulling the cover down in 5, 4, 3, 2, and it's down. Hello everyone and welcome to the Elseworlds Exchange. I don't know if you've noticed, it's entirely different. I mean, still 2 people, but 2
different person though.
Very different. Those of you who don't know, Sal is currently off on the West Coast over at WonderCon, along with Rob from Comics Explained and Faust from It's Super Effective. And Benny, once the pesky blizzard that apparently hit Colorado last night, it passes, he will be there as well. Apparently nobody saw that coming, which I was like, oh yeah, I guess the Rockies, Colorado, snow, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't even realize that because I'm in Florida, so I'm like,
right?
It's summer already.
You're like, what is snow?
Yeah, that honestly was kind of ridiculous when I saw it. I was like, is it cold for people right now? Is it cold?
You're like, because I walk outside, it is gorgeous. No, here it's like a balmy 50. It's, it's nice.
It hit 70 today, so.
Oh, well, that's lucky you.
But see, we get the delicious humidity too. So
that's
you
true.
Open your mouth and you're swallowing water. It's
right. You get to eat the weather. That's pretty cool. But anyway, we thought that since this week we're going to be getting Batman v Superman, mind-blowingly occurring, that maybe we should talk a little bit about Batman and Superman. The fact is, I know that the guys have talked about it before, but less in terms of the mythology behind it. And I don't just mean origins. I mean the fact that I think most people, hands down, when they look at Marvel and they look at DC, Marvel is very much the everyman hero who's gotten powers, and DC is almost a new mythology. Very Greek almost, you want to pull from there, is oral tradition. I mean, were the apocalypse to come and, people from outer space came here thousands of years down the line, they might pick up some DC comics and think, wow, that was a crazy religion back in the day. So.
I think some people think it's a religion now.
Right? So who knows? Possibly. Absolutely. But more specifically, let's talk about Batman and Superman. Let's talk about the fact that Grant Morrison himself went ahead, took the Justice League, and turned it very much into these new Greek gods and kind of equates Superman to Zeus, Batman to Hades. But I gotta tell you, in terms of Batman, I really feel like the reason that Batman, across the board, Marvel, DC, he has this broad appeal, is because he is almost the everyman character, minus the trillions of dollars, who is amongst the gods, essentially. And I think he's a fantastic gateway character. And that, I don't know if you agree with me on this, is part of the reason why we're so fascinated to watch these two fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that Batman kind of relates to us more just because he's so, super powerless, right?
Right.
Kinda...
No, absolutely. And not that I want to say that he's like Prometheus stealing the fire from the gods, but, there he is, walking with confidence among these people who could squish him like a grape.
Right. They could. I mean, really, they could at any time, but then you have the Batman diehards that are like, no, he'd have a plan.
Oh, no.
He'd be fine.
Absolutely. When you're dealing with that kind of firepower, you're going to need a plan. And you know what? The fact is, we know there's so many other characters in the DC universe who do, in fact, they are mortals. Like, we look at Green Arrow, kind of Constantine to some degree. But you notice that they have pretty broad appeal to some degree. People can really get behind them. You can put yourself in their shoes. Batman may be a little less. I mean, honestly, none of them truly, because the fact is, as much as I would love to be Batman, it ain't happening anytime soon.
Well, he also does not have the best life. I mean, besides being the tragic orphan backstory, I mean, he's constantly he's getting his back broken. I mean, he's having a horrible life.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a fun time. But that is in itself very much like Greek myth. The humans were always, plagued by the gods. They always had all these problems, all these issues. And not that necessarily Superman's going down there and breaking Batman's back, but we do see another, crazy godlike character in Bane doing so. So I don't know. Do you think that DC, and especially these two, are these, are they titans? Are they on equal footing? Or do you think that the reason we get behind Batman so often, other than, the fact that he's awesome and he's a fantastic drawing, is because of the fact that, we're rooting for the person who is almost our avatar?
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I think in a way, everybody sees Superman as this guy who's just unbeatable. So obviously there's that human nature side of us that are like, well, let's root for the underdog then, That's kind of how our narrative is in our lives. So it's kind of like, why not go for this guy,
No, exactly. And it's funny, I have these moments where I then look at Superman, and sometimes I want to be like, you're like a Herculean character. Except Hercules, of course, had that actual human aspect to him. He was part human, raised by mortals, and then dealt with the gods. Whereas, our friend Kal-El was raised by humans with that morality.
Right.
But
so in a way, he almost is half human, if you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that he is what we often strive to be. As humans, we look to Superman for that guidance, which does put him in that elevated position. With Batman, we desperately want to be him and be pals with him and stuff like that. But with Superman, it's we put him up here on this pedestal.
Right. And I think that's just part of human nature. That's what we do. We want someone that we can look up to, and then someone who's kind of almost as our peer in a way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I don't know what it is, but of course, if you take it from that Grant Morrison, perspective where, Batman is essentially the god of the underworld, and, you got Superman up on Mount Olympus, which I guess here would be the Watchtower. You want to see them fight, whether it's man versus God or God versus God. There's something about watching them fight. Even if in the end, they're going to pair up, they're going to team up, and they're going to go kick the ass of whatever evil or bad guy is out there, you want to see them come to blows. And it's just, I don't know, what do you think about that? Why?
Yeah, that's the thing. The why is really interesting. And I think about this all the time. Even with something the ancient Colosseum, the Roman Colosseum, when we had people fighting each other to the death and things like that. I mean, I think there's that, I guess I don't know, that's weird though, because you'd like to think, oh, well, we're more civilized than that. We want peace ultimately. But I'm but I mean, Batman and Supes are best friends, and we want them to fight all the time for some reason.
Right?
I don't know why. Why?
I don't know. And maybe what it is from my perspective, I love Superman, right? I think he's great. I love the idea of truth, justice, the American way, the whole thing, right? Batman, I want to see him think it out. How do you beat a god?
So then brains versus bronze then?
And it kind of does come down to that. And, in a sense, that excites me. Not that Superman is any sort of lug. Let's be honest. No. He's an intelligent person. He's a writer. He reports, he went to school. It's not like he's some big jock who we, stereotype and he's got the muscles and therefore he can't think. Now we have seen that version of him, of course, but typically, He's intelligent. It's just Batman's that much more intelligent.
So then maybe it's not even that. Like, but so if that's the case, then why aren't we just satisfied with seeing either of them fighting the villains? Like, what is it about the good guys fighting that we want to see? You know what I mean?
You know,
like,
I guess it's a good question. And I wonder if what it is, you know, we tend to know, I mean, certainly throughout comic book history, we've seen loss and death when good guys fight bad guys. But you know, at the end of the day, somehow, some way, good will triumph over evil to some degree. Whether or not that is a true, you know, black and white victory, in the end, to keep the status quo, good's always going to win. But when you have two good guys fighting, you don't necessarily know how it's going to turn out. I mean, typically the stereotype is that they'll team up, but how are you going to get there is kind of more the question. And I think it opens up this whole new thing where how do we not villainize these good guys, but still have them fight? And for me, part of that's the journey. Part of that's how is the writer going to do this?
Yeah, and I think part of it also is like, how did they get this way in the first place? Like, what is the I mean, they can get super creative with how they want the fighting to even start. I mean, that can be mind control. That can be, I mean, is that the only way? I guess they could disagree enough, but I mean, and that's happened before where they've disagreed enough where they're like, no, I'm just gonna punch you and it's fine.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, or you even get the, you know, of course, when you have the first initial meeting, unless everybody's like copacetic and they totally understand that there are superheroes in the world, like the first meeting of two heroes tends to come to blows because they don't know each other. In particular, when you see these two, when you stand them next to each other, they're so polar opposite of one another, you know, blue, red, you know, bright colors versus like this, you know, essentially shadow warrior who's like come out of nowhere. You know, it's understandable that they're gonna have some differences.
But I think it's just like in a sitcom where there's like, this all could be solved with simple communication.
Oh, yeah. If we could just, you know, stop punching each other for a few moments, maybe we could talk it through.
Literally. That would solve all their problems. Just like have some coffee or something, guys.
Right? Just chill. Just, you know, take a moment, get a biscotti, and, you know, we could figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie seemingly is setting it up with the events of Man of Steel. So I appreciate them going for that. And, of course, you know, we've got Clark looking, I'm sure, at Gotham. My phone's ringing here. Enjoy that, guys. Hang on one second.
How's it going? It's
there we go.
step. Just gonna.
Hey, guys. So you got Clark looking at Gotham and seeing what a mess it is. You know what I mean? Like, when you look at it from that perspective, and he's new to this in a sense. Like, he's been helping, you know, people throughout the world, as we saw in Man of Steel. But truly donning the costume, going out there, putting himself on the line, that's new. That's totally brand new. And seemingly our Batman has been around for a little bit longer, so he kind of understands the balance of it all. Like, he could be like, here's the thing. I'm going to put them away, and they're going to come back out sometimes. And sometimes there's nothing that can be done about it, but I'm doing the best I can. And it's as much as it can be, and you need to understand the fact that just because you're here doesn't mean that's the end of crime. Doesn't mean that it's over. You know, someone's going to always step up and challenge you. Whether or not you're there or not, someone would show up and they would do something, you know, negative. But, like, you have to understand that if you're not willing to cross the line, if you're not willing to completely end the individual who is causing the problem,
right,
that it's not going to be so cut and dry. And in a sense, that circles back to the idea of, is Superman more of a god? Like, does he understand this part of humanity as much as Batman does? I mean, Batman's, you know, they both have loss, let's be honest. Superman lost his entire civilization. Batman lost his parents in front of him.
But I also like how they are combining, like, I haven't seen the movie yet.
No, me either.
I like, from the trailer, at least, they're showing that those events from Man of Steel directly impact, seemingly, this Batman,
oh,
right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So I like that they're doing that because that also adds, like, in addition to him being like, hey, I need to fight you because somebody needs to put you in line, but also, like, you've personally upset my life, so I need to avenge this. So I kind of liked that aspect as well because that adds another plausible reason why they would need to fight in the first place.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that they essentially retconned in Bruce Wayne being seemingly present for Man of Steel, even if we didn't see him there. And I love that, again, in terms of this whole idea of them, like, you know, man versus God or whatever you want to make it, Bruce Wayne being on the ground in, like, the heat of it all, looking up at this godly battle happening over them.
Yeah, it's pretty symbolic.
It's very, absolutely. I mean, there he is being like, you might understand the value of life, and you might have been doing so in order to save life, but you weren't down there. You didn't see the chaos and the panic, and you need to understand that. Whereas Superman's like, you need to stop doing what you're doing, because I'm guessing, and I could be wrong, and maybe the chat knows more because I haven't seen it, and I've been avoiding spoilers at all costs. So part of me is not actually reading the chat because I'm afraid.
Same.
But the fact is, like, it could be that that Superman accuses Batman, you know, because you're here, that's why the Joker exists. And, you know, that's a whole nother huge conversation. What came first?
Yeah.
But, you know, in a sense, it's, and that, again, that's a whole nother conversation. But Superman being in the position that he is, being, raised among humans, but having this intense power and knowing that he comes from a different civilization, being very well aware of that, he looks at the situation in a way that we can't conceive of. Like, he has a perspective that none of us could possibly have.
Yeah. And you know what I think it is also? Is like, Batman, like you were saying, like he's had this incredible power, and I think it's really interesting because he's had it essentially since he was born, since he was sent to Earth. So Superman is starting like up here with power. Like he's always had this power growing up, and he's gonna have to like kind of come down here as far as like human interaction goes. And then Batman like started down here. He was like a regular infant, and then he has to. I mean, he's worked his way up to this type of strength and detective and ninja. All that types of things. So I think they're going to have to come somewhere in the middle.
Oh, yeah. And of course, that's where like the human spirit and human ingenuity is really going to come into play, because Batman, of course, is going to have to make up that gap using science.
Science.
As he loves. And let's not even talk about how excited I am to see the Bat Arsenal.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be good. I'm looking forward to the Batmobile, the suit. I just want everything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but it's interesting when you think about like a little bit about Greek myth and how, Hercules had to go out and like, he had all his like trials, and he had to get the golden fleece, and he had to get this, and he had to get that. And essentially you get all these things that could inevitably actually fight a god. And he's almost like doing his little gear up scene, not necessarily that he uses them against them, but Batman has those like items that could fight a god. Like when you look at like, the very obvious, Kryptonium. Like, obviously, that is, like, almost the Gorgon's head. Like, that's almost Medusa's head when it comes to Superman.
Right. I mean, kind of, yeah.
It's just completely just gonna stop him. Hard to find, hard to get, got a quest for it in a sense, unless you're Lex Luthor, and then you just throw money at it and you find it.
Yeah, I don't know what his role is going to be in all that. He's the one that's been making the whole, like, oh, God versus man. Like, he's the one that's making these comparisons. Yeah. So I don't know where he thinks he falls in that.
I don't know. You know what's funny? To me, he seems like in mythology, essentially a character who wishes to be among the gods. Like, it's not just enough to interact with them. It's not just enough to build temples to them. It's not just enough even to steal their fire, although I'm sure he partially thinks that he is, like, the Prometheus of this all. Like, I will steal from them and bring to you guys, and then you'll put me up there where they were. Like, I'll just displace them.
In any means necessary is the thing, because he has no boundaries. So, it could be
he doesn't, and like part of that's because in so many versions of him, because let's be honest, there's so many versions of these characters, but in their most boiled down, kind of where they started version of them, he, is always been this like, but in my head, it's for the greater good.
Right.
What makes
him the hero of his own story.
Oh, he is.
Always.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what makes him such an amazing villain. Not to cross over to Marvel, but in a sense, Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom thinks he's 100% right. He's right. So you know, when you have a villain like that, when you have someone like Lex Luthor who's just like, no, but I am doing good, I am doing the right thing, it's, you know, it's they're just so fantastic because first of all, there's no reasoning with them. Like, they've already made their call. He knows he's right.
Right. But I mean, when in Man of Steel, like when Superman decides to like kill Zod, I mean, he did what he thought was the right thing by pretty terrible means. So where does it end?
That's a great question. That, you know, and it's I'm pretty excited about this. The closer we've gotten to it, the more excited I have grown for this very, you know, movie. Like, initially I was like, I don't know what it's going to be like, but the closer we get to it, the more I'm like, I can't wait to see them go to blows. I can't wait to see the reasoning behind it all. But I don't know, like, with Luthor being there, with him throwing so much at this, like, you pretty much know where Batman's gonna fall. You pretty much know where Lex is gonna fall. Yeah, like, the fact that Wonder Woman's there, you kind of have a feeling for that.
Yeah, she kind of is a god.
Oh, like, yeah, hands down. So... like, she's the most traditional of them all.
Right. I don't know what she's gonna do either.
I don't know, but you pretty much know where her allegiance is gonna lie. And not that I even think for a minute that Superman's gonna even remotely side with Lex. It's more or less his journey. I kind of feel like the others, it's natural, it makes sense. He has the most learning to do in some way, and I hope that doesn't come off the wrong way. But I really feel like this Man of Steel Superman needs to understand a little bit more how this whole thing is going to work for him going forward.
Yeah, no, he totally does. I think you're right, and I think that I think that's how they've set it up, because I think in previous like incarnations, it's always been like Superman is a little kid and he doesn't know how to control his powers. Now suddenly he's at the Daily Planet and he's got everything under control and it's fine. But now they're like, well, what if he's forced to become Superman super early, like because of Zod, and he doesn't exactly know how to do it, and we kind of are watching him take those baby steps, his first steps, you know? So I think it's kind of interesting that they're showing, I mean, I think it's super intentional that they're showing us his first journey.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love that. And I love also the fact that inevitably this will lead to the Justice League's creation, and it's going to be a real team building effort. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you know, they've created this Superman who has, again, the power of a god. Like, we've seen him in this incredibly godly battle, but he's also fallible. So they've created a fallible god figure to put out there, and of course we know Lex is gonna go after that to some degree, but I'm so excited to see how the rest of the Justice Leaguers, in particular Batman, deals with this, especially because we have an older Batman. This Batman has been around for a while. This isn't like, you know,
he's seen some stuff.
Oh yeah. He's seen some things and he's prepared for almost anything, like the best of Girl Scouts. But
did you just call Batman a Girl Scout?
Well, I would be flattered if he was. I was the Girl Scouts.
Okay. I doubt that like a uniform is in the Batcave.
No, you're probably right. But maybe at one point he perused the Girl Scout handbook. He's like, "What's in here? I know all this."
And then he takes some of it like and adds it to his own like moral code. He's like, definitely being prepared. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I gotta tell you, I feel like personally, Batman's cookie of choice would probably be the Thin Mint. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, he does seem like a minty chocolatey guy,
right?
Based on no information.
Exactly. I don't know. In my head, Batman likes the Thin Mint. He's up on rooftops. He's got a little belt pouch of it. He opens it up. Has a Thin Mint.
You know what? Him and Martian Manhunter get to share their love of cookies with each other.
That's right.
It's canon. It's probably canon.
Now, I'm totally going to switch gears here because you mentioned Martian Manhunter, but I want to see Jean so badly.
Are they going to show him, though, if they literally just showed him in Supergirl? And
I know.
Trying so hard to separate those?
I don't know. But, like, he's such a costly character, though, because he's so, like, if you're going to let Jean do what Jean does, he's going to cost you some money, you know? Like, not
$1,000 per half second of frame.
Exactly. You're going to have to save, like, his moment for something really big, you know? Like, for Batman, you can build the suit. Of course, you're going to have to do a little bit here and there. You're going to have to, you know, spend some money to make Superman fly. But if you're going to have Jean turning into a dragon or anything like that, which I'd like to see.
I don't think they're going to have time to squeeze all that stuff in. Like,
no,
I feel like I'd rather they, make a mention of it, and then it happens in, I guess, Justice League, right?
That would be very cool. Part of me hopes, too, at the end of the movie, like, maybe as a little stinger or something like that, since I know Cyborg will be in there.
Is that true?
I heard that.
That's awesome.
If so,
this basically is a Justice League movie.
It is, I know. And even if he isn't, put him in anyway. Put him in the stinger. Let's just have him working on the Watchtower. Like, let's just start the Justice League movie with the Watchtower. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, that'd be a great lead-in. Because then when you marathon all of them, it flows together. Now.
Exactly, it all works.
About the binge watching aspect of it.
That's
in the
right.
Future already.
They do have to start thinking about that, and I'm sure that they do to some degree. And I think it's very cool that in this movie called Batman v Superman, we're getting a bunch of other characters who are not involved directly with Batman nor Superman directly. That doesn't mean they don't have interaction. Like, Wonder Woman certainly has interaction with both of them, and in all kinds of ways.
I wasn't sure if you were going to mention that or not.
I'm going there, yeah. Who will Wonder Woman choose? I
think it's a rom-com with Batman and Superman, right?
Right? I have a feeling she's going to show up, see them fighting, and be like, please, no, neither of you, okay? You're both children.
Choose Aquaman, and then my life will be complete.
You're a little shipping here going on, a little.
I'm not saying anything.
I get, the Amazonians and essentially the Atlanteans coming together, making this awesome mythological society.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, how cute would their children be?
Okay, they'd be a
stereotypical girl comic book reader,
right? That's okay. No, I'm looking forward to her kicking some serious butt.
She's gonna steal every scene she's in. I already know that. I can tell.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so much, because I know that lately, they've been pimping out some of the screenshots of her and some of the poses that they've chosen, and that doesn't mean that it's not indicative of anything. It's just marketing. Marketing's very different than the actual movie. But it's a lot of model-y kind of she'll be in the middle of emotion, but she's all ooh, and I'm like, that's not what she's doing, and I know that in my heart of hearts, but don't put it out there like that. Let her be strong. Let her have her little ugly moments sometimes. With strength, you get that.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen any of those tiny little snippets that they keep showing for her movie.
Oh, I haven't.
They're pretty cool.
Are they?
The director is oh yeah, this is going to be a basically she's going to be a James Bond type hero, and someone was like, oh, a woman James Bond, and he was like, no. She will be like James Bond.
Yeah, we don't have.
Yes,
that's awesome. I appreciate it when you get someone on a project who respects said project and then wants to make said project awesome. And if you're going to be making a Wonder Woman movie, I appreciate the fact that you got someone who isn't she's just a girl version of blah. No, she's Wonder Woman, and she's going to be doing Wonder Woman stuff, and woman, man, who cares?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, literally, that's my current problem. I know this is off rail a little bit. That's my current problem with the Wonder Woman run.
Yeah.
Because the people who are writing it, first of all, had not really written that many comics before, except for the Grimm fairy tale stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, Wonder Woman isn't a feminist. She doesn't do this, she doesn't do that. And I'm like, well,
Amazonian culture might have a problem with that.
A little bit. So I don't know.
I don't know if you've ever even heard of the Amazons. But a whole big part of their whole shtick is they don't like men. The fact that Diana's even out there doing her thing, she's a cultural ambassador.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want to see how does she even get there? What?
I don't know.
Hear all this is happening and then come over? That seems really weird.
Right?
I want to know.
Part of me kind of hopes it's just that, where she's just and I'm here, and I already know what's happening, and out of the way, boys.
That'll happen. It'll happen, of course, right?
I hope so. I do. I really do. The fact that they even had that scene where you see in the trailer where they're like, I thought she was with you. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Yeah. Kind of indicates that she seemingly comes out of nowhere. Maybe we'll get an explanation.
I hope they don't even explain it to us. She just pops out of
Well, I mean, she'll jump out of her invisible jet. And
there There you go. Oh, perfect. See, she doesn't even need an explanation.
Right?
Jet.
She's like, I was just hovering over, checking it out.
How long have you been here?
Oh,
very long.
Long enough to see how this whole thing was going to go. So let me help you here.
Oh, man.
Let me give you a hand. So I don't know. First of all, this went from one thing to the other, but I think what it comes down to is we're excited for the movie. We're, as humans, excited to see these two fight, whether or not you watch them as two gods fighting or you watch them as a god fighting a man, and how does a man do that. I think in the end, we desperately want these two heroes to be at blows, and then put their differences aside to save our asses from whatever fire we've fallen into, essentially.
Yeah, that's interesting, too, that we're very specific. We're like, we want them to fight for a little bit, but ultimately, we want them to remain friends.
Yeah, but then get over it and, have a nice, fun adventure, like where you're joking around.
That couldn't remain canon, right? Like, two character, like, if Batman and Superman never became friends again and they were just enemies, like, nobody would want that.
No, and it would be a huge thing to bring them back. And it would be an interesting thought exercise, I think, and I think some writers could really do something fun with it for a while, but make it as a non-canon story. Like, give that a shot. I mean, in a sense, that's kind of, sort of a little bit what Red Son Superman does. A little bit. But not in the sense of they were friends, and then they had a falling out, and then they stopped talking to each other, necessarily. I mean, all right, Dark Knight Returns kind of does that.
Yeah. Well, we just want closure, right? That's all we need.
Right. We don't see it. We don't see it with a younger Batman and Superman. We see it with a, near the end of his lifespan Batman. And
old Batman.
Yeah, and a politically corrupt Superman, essentially. But we don't see it with our everyday Batman and Superman where, like, one of them takes their toys and goes home. We don't get that opportunity. And I surely hope that doesn't happen here, because I definitely do want to see them working together. I love those interactions. I love, Batman's, lack of humor and sarcasm and, whatever they decide to do with Superman, Man of Steel's personality. Like, last time he was under a lot of stress, stuck in between.
That's putting it mildly. He was under some stress.
It's a little bit. It wasn't a lot. It was like, midterm, final kind of stress.
Gosh, Zack Snyder would be so angry that you're saying that.
Look, if Zack Snyder's listening to this thing right now, then we've accomplished something great. Okay, I don't care what I tell him.
Fair enough.
But, and there he was struggling with three different identities, the Clark Kent, the Kal-El, and the Superman identity simultaneously. And it seemed that we're going into this, he is going to be Superman. I'm sure we'll see the other aspects. We do see him as Clark Kent. But I'm interested to see the personality that develops from this and how the interactions he will have with others who have had more experience than him.
Yeah, and I think his whole personality is going to end up getting molded by these characters, by Lex Luthor by Lois Lane, and by Batman, certainly. I think we're going to see him being molded by those characters.
All right, so I got to ask you brought up Lex Luthor. Wig, or are we going to see Lex lose his hair?
I think it will be here's what's going to happen. Superman's going to punch the ground one of the times when he's fighting Batman. I don't know, some kind of authority thing. I don't know.
Right.
He'll punch the ground. It's going to send out this, shock wave. Uh-huh. And then his hair is just going to go poof. I mean, I don't know how else.
Well, no, I know in the past, in the comics, it's been, through an experiment, through whatever, he typically blames Superman for the loss of his hair. But the question is, though, did he lose it in Man of Steel and we didn't see it, and he blames Superman for it, and he's wearing the wig now? Or are we going to see him it's all going to come out? Because the hair, it's killing me.
Well, maybe it's like a Breaking Bad thing where he goes in and he's like,
oh, yeah, Breaking Bad. Or it could also almost be like, with Predator, he's just bicking his face, bicking his head. He can't help himself. It's a nervous tick.
I don't know. Would they do that with this Lex Luthor?
No! Not even remotely. But I got to tell you.
Maybe it's a wig. Maybe you're right.
You know what? I don't care. Either way, I hate that hair. I hate it.
I mean, it takes me out of it. Like, I'm like, oh, this is Jesse Eisenberg.
It is Jesse Eisenberg with bad hair. And I just want to rip that hair off his head. Be like, you are Lex Luthor.
Maybe that's what maybe Wonder Woman will do that. She'll be like, get that thing off your head.
Yeah, right? Or one of them will be like, nice wig. Like, either Batman or Superman will know exactly what it is.
Yeah, so either Batman will use his detective skills or Superman will use his X-ray vision
right?
and be like, you're wearing a wig. And he's like, I must defeat Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, I was in the city and like the fallout from whatever that machine was, I lost my hair, so I blame you for it. Also, screw you for having power. I deserve that power and my hair.
So what I'm hearing is that he's equal parts angry about the destruction of his city and the lack of powers and not having hair.
Yeah, that's my Lex Luthor, and he's it's a sensitive thing. I mean, wig or not, that's a lot of hair for him to have. That's a lot of styling product for him to have to use to get it to do that. So, if that's what it looked like before, and now he's got the wig, I might be annoyed too.
Well, this is such a ridiculous conversation to be having.
I know. It absolutely is. No, but like, seriously, I just, like, in my head, I know Lex had hair.
Yeah.
But for me, it's bald Lex Luthor in, like, either his green and purple power suit or his actual, like, tailored power suit. Either way, at the end of the day, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, when he actually had hair in the comics, wasn't it orange? Or am I making that up?
I think it was, or at the very least, and someone's going to correct me on this one because I'm going to pull this out of the ether, but I'm pretty sure there's either an Earth 2 or another, universe version of him who's either a son or a clone or a something. Someone's going to be correcting me right now that has that orange hair.
Okay, so I didn't just make that up.
No, that is a thing. That is a thing.
So maybe that's also like, so it's got to be a wig then, because then it would be orange, right?
I don't know, unless they decide screw it.
Muted.
Maybe they put the orange on him and they're like, oh no, you look ridiculous.
This is a nightmare.
Yeah, we've made a mistake.
Well, yeah. So then maybe this is orange, but through like the dark Zack Snyder filter, it just looks brown.
Exactly. Who knows? I have no idea. And the fact that you mentioned the fact that it's dark, it's super. I'm very interested to see how this goes because Superman, for me, is like the pinnacle of light, but he is dealing with this very dark world. I think that's going to be like super cool to see and hopefully very exciting. And I'm guessing that over time, throughout the movies, throughout Justice League and all the movies that follow for DC, they could change the tone as they go. We could see like we have this, the it's always darkest before the dawn kind of thing, and then we could plunge back into darkness. Who knows? Like, I have no idea. Right? Is that true? Right? Maybe. All I know is the movie's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
The only thing I wish it hadn't been Jesse Eisenberg. That's like my big thing right now.
I said that too, but I'm at this point in the game, I'm just gonna reserve all judgments.
Yeah.
Because he could blow me away and I might not even know.
Oh yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're completely right about that. Like when they announced Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, I was like, it seems a little not muscly for that. I don't know.
Wow, you were a judger.
I was. And that's not like, and I'm not talking like curves. I'm not talking anything like that. Like, I looked at her. I wanted a little bit more here, but like, you know what? Then I was like, but have I ever actually seen an Amazonian? No. So, shut up, me.
Just have all that like strength hidden away.
That's right. Right. It's all sinew. She's very sinewy. She does a lot of toning.
She is. Yeah.
Right. But the fact is, she's Amazon. It's totally different makeup. She's not a person. Like, she's not a human. So I totally get that. So I let that go a while ago. I was like, all right, initial shock over, moving on. But the Jesse Eisenberg thing, every time he opens his mouth in the trailer, so it's just in the trailer, and it's but mere moments, I'm like, you're not acting! You're just being you!
I think, here's what they're going to do. I think they're going to have some part where they're like, they have this crazy, like, super serious acting moment for him. That makes it like that kind of sets the tone, and we're like, oh, holy crap! Where did he pull that? And then everything he does after that you kind of go, oh, he's kind of just putting on an act of being a goofy guy.
That would be
deep down. That's what I'm hoping.
I would love that. That would be amazing. Straight up amazing. Because look, they wouldn't just cast him for the name. They don't need it. They got Ben Affleck. You know what I mean? Like,
they're good.
We don't need the name. There was a clear choice here for whatever that was. And if they're keeping that hidden, then I applaud them because they didn't just put something like that in the trailer.
If not, they should hire us to write movies.
Right? Come on, guys. We're right here.
Zack Snyder, obviously still listening.
Yeah, clearly he's still here. He wasn't hurt by my words, so he's still hanging out. So, Zach, hang around after the chat, and, we'll chat you up about the next movie. Whatever it is. We're there.
Gosh.
We could be extras.
Oh, my gosh.
So, when are you going to be seeing it?
Tomorrow night.
Awesome. Sal will also be seeing it tomorrow night.
Everybody keeps seeing it like super early. Have you noticed that?
Uh-huh. I know. Everyone's like, I saw it in blah. I'm like, no blah. I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't like this. All these reviews are going up. And I'm like, at least wait till like opening day.
Right. Right? Give me a chance to have my own reaction.
And that's the thing is like what's super hard is like everybody I feel like is trying to color my opinion before going into it. And I'm like, no. Like even like Rotten Tomatoes is already giving and I'm like, stop. No. Like
No,
my gosh.
You just gotta
I just want to have a good time. I want to have a cinematic experience.
Right.
That's what I want.
Exactly. You want to get the popcorn, you want to get the drink, you want to sit down and not know every single thing that happens. Huh?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you going to be seeing this in either IMAX or 3D, one of those experiences?
Okay. So let me tell you my little tale of woe when it comes to 3D.
Oh, gosh.
I don't wear contacts. I never have, and I never will.
You have the glasses issue.
I got the glasses issue. So, like, sometimes I'm fine. And other times I'm like, okay, everything has to stop because it's too much.
Oh, that's horrible.
I can't 3D's a little difficult for me.
You know what? At least they've updated from the blue and red.
Yes.
Remember those?
Well, at least if we had that, I could just put the stickers or something over my glasses and that would be done.
cool.
But no, I got to wear those things. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I will probably just go for a straight up viewing of the movie.
You know what? I definitely understand where you're coming for that, though, because the Man of Steel movie that I went to, we did IMAX 3D, and it's something about, I think it's just something about the cinematography of that movie that had a lot of spinning. I started to feel sick, and I felt so bad. I had to like look down. It was like, there's just so many moments where they're like trying to be really dramatic.
Right.
And
you're like, okay, could we stop the ride now? I'd like to get off.
I do not want to risk that this time,
No.
so I just am normal viewing.
Straight up viewing. If I want the 3D experience, I'll hire the guy in front of me to throw things at me every once in a while. Like.
Oh, you mean maybe like spritz you with water?
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, it's so real. That was water, right? You didn't just spit on me, right?
I think that's a 4D. That's a 4D.
Oh, okay. Hey, get on that, DC.
3D, somebody just punches you in the face.
Right? Yeah. That's. Seemingly that sounds kind of cool. I don't know if I want that experience now that I'm really thinking about it.
But you're paying for it, so.
I did pay for it, so I will take the punch now. Thank you. So I don't know when I'm going to be seeing it because Sal and Benny and Rob and Faust maybe, I think Faust, I don't know Faust, and a few others, they're going to be seeing it in Disneyland at like the Disneyland premiere of it.
I know.
So
I'm very upset.
I'm going to go to my local movie theater and, have my own little red carpet. Be like, oh, hello. Hello, everyone. Yes.
And he will be like, tell that lady to stop yelling at us.
I'm like, I'm having my moment. Leave me alone.
Sit down.
No. When does Mickey Mouse show up?
Is that what you're yelling?
Yes. That's me. That's me in the theaters. And then, Danielle will bring me my snacks and tell me to sit down and, quiet me down. Because I'm like 4. If you give me a snack, I settle down right away. It's cool.
I think you're building a really good case for why they should invite you to these premiere events.
Okay, technically I could have gone, but I couldn't actually.
Think then. I have no sympathy.
I couldn't go. It's my sister's birthday on Sunday, so travel plans weren't going to work out.
Excuse me, fake superheroes or sister's birthday, obviously.
This is the very first stream she's ever watched. She doesn't watch any of my stuff. She doesn't watch any of it all. This is going to be the one she watches. She's going to be like, oh yeah? Well, Be like, hey, I got you a birthday present.
Yeah.
So, simmer down there, kid. I could have been seeing Batman.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I'm going to see it no matter what, but it's just the location. The sunny warmth, after a full day of fun in Disneyland and then going to see the movie, I'll have to make my own fun. I'm going to go on my own rides because our movie theater is at the mall, so I'll just make, they've got one of those little, kid rides in the middle of the mall. I'll just fill it full of quarters. I'll just go for it.
You could go to, a candle store, sniff some candles.
Yeah.
That's the same.
Yeah, pretty much. And, I'll see if anybody from the Hot Topic will put on any of the costumes they usually have around there and let me get an autograph or something.
Hot Topic, yes, please do that.
So yeah, I think I can kind of approximate the Disney experience.
Sal was like, nah, I'm getting the heck out of here.
I told him to go. To be fair, the man did not want to go. I was like, you should go. And then when I was taking him to the airport this morning at 3:30, I was like, yeah.
3:30.
Yeah, he had a 3. Well, his flight was technically at 7, but they were boarding at 6:30. There was all this math involved.
And then you just tuned it out.
Yeah, because I was like, it's early. Shh.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
Yeah, that was. You know what? There was no cars though. That's the time to go see Batman v Superman because there was nobody around. Should have just broken into the theater, set up not the reel, but figured out all the buttons and pushed the right thing, and that's what I should have done.
Again, you're really going to get invited back after you're explaining how you would.
Exactly. Well, I'm really banking a lot on the fact that people of importance aren't watching this.
That's a good point.
Well, not of importance. How about of the position
way to go, Tiffany.
in which I know
your entire audience.
Bad me. It's the lack of sleep. I'm blaming it on that. It was the trip this morning to the airport. By the way, the airport's really busy at that hour, which is something that Batman would know, but not me.
Why would Batman know that?
Because he's up all the time.
I don't think he travels via...
Well, no, but he would know the comings and goings of Gotham. Gotham's got an airport. He'd be like, oh, it's 3 a.m. It's busy. I might want to swing by and check out what's happening. Oh, we're good. Off I go.
I don't think that has ever happened one time.
Okay, I write boring comics in my head, guys. My comic pitch. Batman goes through Gotham City around 3 a.m., seeing what's busy, seeing if anything's going down. He goes to the airport. Everything's cool. He gets a slice of Sbarro, and he's off to the next thing.
$1 million. $1 million pitch.
Right? DC, that one's for you. You could just have that. You could just take it and run with it.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, come on. Or Scott Snyder.
Or Scott.
If you want to write that, that's yours. Just take it. Just don't forget me.
Is this why Joel really didn't come?
No. He doesn't know this. He's never seen this. This is me.
You know what? To be fair, I can't see this. I don't know what you're doing.
There's a lot of hand motion right now. I'm really I'm like a mime or I'm directing traffic. I'm not sure yet, but if you come down this way, you can then go that way. See, what people at home don't know is in order for us to make this movie magic happen, Sammie can't see me. She can't see what I'm doing over here. So she can't see if I'm dancing or, if I'm...
Is that what you're doing right now?
I was. I stopped though because I realized that was a bad career move on my part.
There will be 10 GIFs tomorrow.
Exactly. Let the GIFing begin. That's just, I don't know, guys. I don't know, but I know that we have been going for almost an hour. Almost an hour, and I know that you eventually gotta head off.
That's true.
So we don't want to take you over our time, because then you're never gonna come back. You gotta come back.
I want to come back now.
We gotta do this. After seeing this, when Sal's here, it's a lot less animated. There's a lot less hand motions, but there is a lot more yelling. But not at you, just at the air.
I can't do this. Oh, God.
He gets really into it. It's the Sal rant. He can't help himself. There's the passion and the love or the hate or the general.
But if you're there to balance it out, then.
Sometimes I am. Sometimes in there, I'm like, okay, you gotta. We're gonna
rein it back.
We gotta bring it. We gotta, have a dad, Sal. Have a dad. That's what.
What was that?
You know, it's Elvish for sit down.
Why do you know that?
Because that's what Aragorn says to Legolas when they're at the Council of Elrond, and, you know, Legolas is all like, oh, no, you didn't, and Aragorn's all like, have a dad, Legolas, you're embarrassing the hell out of me right now. Just
I can only assume what you look like right now, what you're doing. A lot of this.
There was a lot, that is what I'm doing. It's like you're watching me. Seriously, though.
That's so good. I wonder if I could, like, just listen to your different, like, sound effects and see if I could just guess, like, what you're
right.
like,
I think you could. I'm not a terribly deep person. Let's be honest.
It's horrible.
So, but I am glad we got to talk about this. You know, I think that inevitably this is a conversation that can definitely come back, especially after seeing the movie. Like, did they treat it like that? Like, do they treat them on equal footing? Do they treat them in the oral tradition and the new mythology tradition that DC has put out there? Did they give them the Grant Morrison treatment or not? Like, what are we going to see from these characters versus the, you know, printed comic book characters that we know, love, and have grown up with? And we've seen them go through all kinds of things. We've seen so many incarnations of them, you know, multiverse, you know, back in time, you know, getting the rings, sitting in chairs, becoming gods, not becoming gods. Like, what are we going to get from the DC cinematic universe that is either going to be a complete, like, you know, mind, like, I was going to say the F word, but I'm not going to. We're just going to completely blow our minds, or is it going to be something that is an amalgam of these things? Like, how much are we going to get of the comic books in these movies, and will they carry on that tradition of God mythology or not?
It's a mystery.
It is a mystery.
Someone's already seen it.
Which I think a few people in the chat have definitely already seen it. And I've been really hesitant to check out in the chat. So, you know, if you have seen it and you've been controlling yourself and not giving spoilers, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Clapping, so right.
Right. I was like, I'm gonna do that right at the microphone. Then she'll definitely know what I'm doing. And if you have put some spoilers in there, well, I assume that the rest of the chat swiftly took care of that.
Probably. But I guess what you guys are gonna have to do some kind of follow up. Whether it's on like weekly poll or
either they're gonna do it or we're gonna have to do it, because if, you know, the show must go on, people, okay? Like, if we say we're going to follow up and they don't follow up, then it falls to us.
So true. West Coast Avengers, right?
Right. No, actually, someone pointed out that right now, Benny, Sal, Rob, and Faust are the West Coast Avengers, because they're all on the West Coast. Right?
That's so true.
We're the real Avengers now.
I saw that tweet, and then I was like, I don't understand it, but now I do.
Right? Yeah, no, they're the fake ones now. We're the real ones. Woo! Yeah, that's right. Until they come back and then, you know, swiftly kick us out of our...
No, let's enjoy the power while we have it.
Right, exactly. Let's go save some cities or get pizza, you know, whatever.
Yeah, that second one was more...
That realistic. Seems more like something we could do.
Yeah,
so,
fine.
Okay, yeah, because you probably have a pizza place by you, and I got one by me, so, yeah. Right?
We'll have it by ourselves, but together.
Yeah, exactly. Together, but not alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So, thank you so much for being on this. I know it was very impromptu, and we didn't even know this was going to happen, but I was like, right, the Elseworlds exchange is supposed to happen, and Sal isn't here because he's somewhere else being warm. He's being warm. You're being warm, too. Everybody's...
Yeah, I'm warm.
I'm not. Too. It's not. I got the hat. I'm wearing a hat. You don't know I'm wearing a hat.
I was just about to say, I was like, this is news.
I got, like, my Newsies cap on.
Oh, that's fun.
I got my Newsies cap and my Newsies. I'm like a Superman Newsie right now. Yeah, you'll see later on.
I was like, I don't know what that means. Okay, all right.
The chat knows what I'm talking about, and they can judge me based on that. But no, seriously, thank you so much. This was a great conversation, and I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too. And I think we actually talked about the topic.
Yeah, this is like the most I've ever stayed on topic, I think.
Right? I'm a slave driver when it comes to those things.
You did good, though. Thank you very much for having me.
No, absolutely. This honestly so much fun, a real pleasure, and I look forward to us doing this again. I'm not even going to say I hope we can do it. I'm just going to say we are going to do it again because this was great. We're going to make this happen. It's a thing now.
Very cool. Or should I say cool?
Oh, did you see what she did there, everyone? I saw it. I saw it, and it was awesome. Oh, okay.
I wish I knew what you were doing.
There was arms up in the air, and I was going, oh,
Like this?
yeah, a little lower. Yeah, kind of like that, and I was like, oh, no, you just lean back a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah. We had a friend of ours who that was his thing. Like, if someone, we were playing poker. Quick story. We're all playing poker, and anytime someone, essentially took a huge pot in, like, the most either ridiculous or amazing way, that person then had to sit cross-armed and, like, look up, like, in, like, a really, like, cocky kind of, like, that's right, I won kind of way. And then everyone else around them would throw up their hands and go, oh! I don't know. We were tired.
That's a fun game.
Right? It brings poker to a whole new level. Plus Skittles and M&Ms as chips.
Oh,
yeah.
lucky.
Yeah, you had to really control yourself to not eat your pot.
That takes on a new meaning.
Well, I had a whole lot more money, essentially, but I ate it. So it's a new rule for poker. No, seriously though, we do have to do this again. I like that we did a good. This was a good time frame. I think like we didn't go like the 3-hour podcast or anything like that. So I think this went really well, and I'm glad we stayed on topic. And I look forward to us doing this again. And thank you so much, chat, for being here. I know this came out of the blue, but I really appreciate you sticking around, hanging out with us, chatting with us, checking it out. And if you're watching this later on, because I think this all gets recorded, who knows? Because I did it. I like all the hearts, and it's awesome. We look forward to seeing what you guys have to say, and by the time this probably comes out, the movie will be out, so you guys can blow up in the comments about what you thought about it. So it's crazy. It's like we're time traveling right now. Like,
oh my gosh, that's so hello from the past,
right? Or the future. Who knows? Because when you see this, I know I'm having a hard time with this right now. Time travel kind of fries my brain. But, and of course, please check out Sammie over at Sammie Reads. Sammie, what do you got coming out for the rest of this week?
The rest of this week, I have a new pull list video. I do that every single Saturday,
awesome.
So that is very exciting. But in a couple weeks, I have a whole bunch of collaborations happening with a lot of YouTubers you may know.
Oh, that's awesome. And I like the tease there because we got to go over to your channel to check it out. So don't forget to go over there. She's Sammie Reads across the board. You can check her out on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram.
All of them.
All of them!
Instagram, Twitter.
She's got it all. She wins the Huffy Bike. She's got the Twitter. She's got the YouTube. She's got the Instagram. She's getting it all. She's going to Colonial Williamsburg.
I don't understand that last one.
That was one of the crummy prizes back on old game shows for kids. They would send them to...
That's not the best prize.
No. But they made a really big deal about it. Like, it was really important. It wasn't.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And over on ComicPOP, even though Sal's not here, the man lined up the shows for the rest of the week, as far as I know. So tomorrow you will be getting very cool back issues that isn't Batman themed because Sal doesn't think about that necessarily. He just wanted to do something else. It is something that people have been asking for, and it is something that Sal is not a fan of. I'm just going to tell you what it is. It's One More Day.
Oh.
So, as you know, I'm not a big fan, but he has the opportunity to explain it to Ethan and Ben. I was nearby, but not in the episode, but I did hear it, and I can tell you it was a very fine, very enjoyable, very fun episode. I give it 2 enthusiastic thumbs up. There they are.
4 now.
Exactly. Oh, that's awesome. I like all those thumbs up. These are thumbs up for all of us, for both of us. Across the board, thumbs up. Bing, 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 bing. Finger guns for Jeff Johns. So thank you again, Sammie, for being here. Thank you, chat, so much. And don't forget, check out Sammie Reads and head on over to ComicPOP to see all the other stuff that we're doing. Next week, Sal will be back, probably with Joel or someone else. I have no idea, for another fantastic Elseworlds exchange. But until then, everyone, enjoy your Batmans and your Supermans. Let us know what you thought about them. We'll see you next time.